Here is a fact that completely changes how aging should be understood. On the island of Okinawa in Japan, there are more people living past the age of 100 per capita than anywhere else in the world. This isn't a small statistical anomaly. It's a consistent pattern that has been studied for decades. But what truly shocks researchers is not just how long these people live, it's how well they move. In Okinawa, many people in their 80s and 90s climb stairs without assistance. They get up from the floor without grabbing furniture. They walk long distances every day without canes, walkers, or fear of falling. Mobility is not something they lose early. It's something they preserve deep into old age. Now compare that with what happens in most Western countries. By age 65, nearly 40% of adults struggle to rise from a chair without using their arms. Balance becomes fragile. Legs feel weak. Stairs turn into obstacles. Walking speed slows dramatically. And once leg strength declines, independence often follows. Most people assume this is just what aging looks like. Japanese researchers strongly disagree. In Japan, leg strength is not viewed as a cosmetic fitness goal. It is viewed as a survival skill. It determines whether someone can live independently, avoid falls, and maintain dignity in old age. Because once leg strength is lost, everything else declines faster. Balance weakens. Confidence disappears. Fear of movement sets in. And inactivity accelerates the process even more. What makes the Japanese case so fascinating is that genetics alone cannot explain it. Okinawans who move to Western countries lose much of this advantage within 1 or 2 generations. That tells researchers something very important. Longevity and mobility are not inherited by blood alone. They are built through daily habits. So, what are Japanese seniors doing differently? It's not gym culture, it's not extreme workouts, and it's certainly not youth-focused fitness trends. The answer lies in a small set of specific leg movements that have been practiced in Japan for generations. Movements so ordinary, they don't even look like exercise. Yet modern science is now revealing just how powerful they truly are. A large study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy followed more than 3,000 Japanese adults between the ages of 60 and 85. Researchers tracked their daily movement patterns, leg strength, balance, and fall history over time. The results were striking. Those who regularly performed traditional Japanese leg-strengthening movements showed more than double the improvement in lower limb strength compared to their baseline levels over 18 months. Even more important than strength gains was what happened to fall risk. The group practicing these movements reduced their risk of falling by more than 60% compared to those who followed standard Western exercise advice. That difference alone can mean the difference between living independently and moving into assisted care. Another study from Tokyo Metropolitan University looked deeper into why these movements work so well. The researchers discovered that traditional Japanese exercises activate deep stabilizing muscles in the legs. These are muscles responsible for balance, joint protection, and coordinated movement. Western exercise programs often focus on large surface muscles, but they neglect these deeper systems. This is a critical distinction. You can build visible muscle and still have poor balance. You can walk on a treadmill and still struggle to stand up from a chair. Japanese movement traditions evolved around real-life function, not appearance. Standing, sitting, squatting, balancing, and rising from the floor were part of everyday life long before they were studied in laboratories. What makes this even more remarkable is how accessible these movements are. They require no gym membership, no machines, no expensive equipment. Most take less than 10 minutes per day. Many can be done while watching television or waiting for water to boil. Japanese seniors don't separate exercise from daily living. Movement is woven into life itself. And this constant, low-level stimulation keeps the legs strong year after year. Today, Western science is finally catching up to what Japanese culture has known intuitively for centuries. When researchers isolate these movements and test them under controlled conditions, the results are often described as unusual or unexpected. But to Japanese physical therapists, they are simply common sense. In this video, I am going to walk you through 6 specific leg exercises rooted in Japanese tradition and now backed by modern research. I've ranked them from helpful to absolutely essential. Each one builds on the last, and the final exercise, the number 1, stands above all the others in terms of restoring leg strength, balance, and independence. In fact, a clinical trial from Kyoto University found that seniors who practiced this single movement for just 8 weeks dramatically increased their leg strength and balance scores. Some participants who required assistance at the beginning of the study were moving independently by the end. That's not motivation. That's data. Stay with me, because I've saved the most powerful movement for last. But first, let's begin with the foundation, the simplest exercise that quietly supports everything else. Let's begin with the exercise that almost no one thinks of as training, yet it quietly supports leg strength throughout the entire day. In Japan, this movement is so natural that many older adults perform it dozens of times without ever labeling it as exercise. Exercise number 6 is heel raises with wall support. In Japanese daily life, rising onto the balls of the feet happens constantly. While cooking at the stove, while reaching for items on shelves, while waiting in line. This simple action keeps the calf muscles active well into old age. Those calf muscles play a critical role in leg health. They are often referred to as the body's second heart, because they help pump blood back up from the lower legs toward the heart. When calf muscles weaken, circulation slows. Reduced circulation accelerates muscle loss. Muscle loss reduces stability, and instability increases fall risk. This cascade is one of the fastest ways legs age prematurely. A University of Tokyo study followed adults over 65 who practiced controlled heel raises daily for 12 weeks. The group showed significant gains in calf strength, ankle stability, and overall walking speed. Walking speed may sound trivial, but it is one of the strongest predictors of longevity in older adults. Faster, confident walking correlates with longer life and greater independence. To perform heel raises the Japanese way. Stand facing a wall and place your hands lightly against it. Feet should be hip-width apart. Slowly lift your heels until you're standing on the balls of your feet. Hold briefly at the top, then lower yourself down slowly with control. The slow lowering phase is essential. It strengthens muscles more effectively than simply lifting and dropping. This movement is typically performed in short sets throughout the day rather than one long session. Morning activates circulation after sleep. Midday counters prolonged sitting. Evening helps keep blood moving before rest. This frequency-based approach is one reason Japanese seniors maintain function without working out. Now let's move to exercise number 5, which targets an area Western exercise programs often ignore. Exercise number 5 is the sumo stance hip circle. This movement comes from traditional Japanese sumo training, but it has been adapted for seniors for decades. It focuses on the hips and inner thighs, which act as the foundation of the lower body. Weak hips place excessive strain on the knees and lower back. Strong hips distribute force evenly and stabilize every step you take. In Japan, hip mobility is considered essential for lifelong movement. People squat, kneel, and rise from the floor regularly. These actions keep the hip joints functional. In contrast, many Western adults spend decades sitting in chairs, which shortens and weakens hip muscles. Research published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science compared Japanese adults practicing traditional hip movements with those performing standard Western leg exercises. The traditional movement group showed greater hip stability, stronger inner thigh activation, and less knee discomfort. To perform this exercise, stand with your feet wider than shoulder width apart and turn your toes outward. Bend your knees slightly and place your hands on your thighs for support. From this position, slowly circle your hips as if drawing a large circle with your pelvis. Move slowly and deliberately. 10 circles in one direction, then 10 in the other. The goal is not range of motion alone, but muscle coordination. You should feel deep muscles around the hips engaging together. Japanese seniors often perform this movement in the morning, as it improves mobility and reduces stiffness for the rest of the day. Next, we move to exercise number 4, which focuses on one of the most important muscle groups for independence. Exercise number 4 is seated leg extensions. The quadriceps, located at the front of the thighs, are essential for standing up, climbing stairs, and controlling balance. Unfortunately, they are also one of the first muscle groups to weaken with age. Without targeted activation, quadriceps strength can decline rapidly after 60. Japanese rehabilitation centers have used seated leg extensions for decades because they build strength without stressing the knee joints. Modern research confirms their effectiveness. A clinical trial from Hokkaido University followed older adults who performed seated leg extensions several times per week. The participants significantly improved their ability to stand from a chair, climb stairs, and walk more confidently. These improvements translate directly to daily independence. To perform this movement, sit in a sturdy chair with your back supported. Slowly extend one leg until it is straight. Hold briefly, then lower it back down under control. Alternate legs. The emphasis is on slow, controlled movement, not speed. Once the movement becomes easy, light ankle weights can be added. Even small amounts of resistance dramatically increase muscle activation. Japanese protocols always emphasize gradual progression to protect joints and prevent discouragement. Now we arrive at exercise number 3, one of the most misunderstood movements in Western aging advice. Exercise number 3 is modified deep squatting. In many Western countries, older adults are told to avoid squatting. In Japan, squatting is preserved and adapted. The difference lies in technique and intention. Squatting strengthens the hips, thighs, knees, and ankles together. It trains the body to move as a unit. Japanese seniors often squat while gardening, cleaning, or playing with grandchildren. This daily exposure maintains strength and flexibility naturally. Research from Japan's National Institute of Health and Nutrition compared elderly adults who regularly squatted with those who avoided it. The squatting group demonstrated significantly greater leg strength, balance, and joint mobility. The Japanese approach uses modification for safety. Standing near a sturdy surface, you lower yourself only as far as comfortable. Then rise slowly. Depth is less important than control and consistency. Even shallow squats performed daily produce meaningful improvements over time. By this point, a pattern should be clear. Japanese leg strength is not built through intensity. It is built through repetition, integration, and respect for natural movement patterns. In the final part, we'll focus on the 2 most powerful exercises of all. These movements directly retrain balance, coordination, and functional strength. One of them is so effective that it is considered the gold standard in Japanese elderly rehabilitation, and it requires nothing more than your own body and a chair. Now we reach the final 2 exercises. These are the movements that separate simple leg strength from true functional independence. In Japan, they are considered essential for aging well because they train not just muscles, but coordination between the brain, joints, and balance systems. Exercise number 2 is single leg standing balance. At first glance, this movement looks almost too simple to matter. You stand on one leg. That's it. But beneath that simplicity lies one of the most powerful neuromuscular training tools ever studied. When you stand on one leg, your body is forced to activate hundreds of muscles at once. Small, stabilizing muscles in the feet, ankles, knees, hips, and core all work together to keep you upright. At the same time, your brain is constantly adjusting signals to maintain balance. This combination makes single-leg standing far more effective than many traditional strength exercises. Japanese researchers have long recognized balance as a cornerstone of mobility. In fact, balance ability is often assessed before strength in elderly evaluations. Without balance, strength cannot be used effectively. A study from Tohoku University compared older adults who performed balance training with those who performed standard resistance exercises. The balance group showed significantly greater improvement in functional leg strength, even though they lifted no weights. More importantly, they reduced their risk of falls by more than 70%. Falls are not a minor issue in aging. They are the leading cause of injury-related loss of independence in adults over 65. Preventing falls is not just about safety. It is about preserving freedom. To perform single-leg standing the Japanese way, stand near a wall or sturdy surface. Shift your weight onto one foot and gently lift the other foot just an inch or two off the ground. There is no need to lift it high. The goal is stability, not height. Hold the position for as long as you can while breathing calmly. At first, this may be only a few seconds. With practice, it often increases to 30 seconds or more. Japanese seniors commonly practice this while brushing their teeth or waiting for water to boil. Short, frequent practice sessions are more effective than long, exhausting ones. As balance improves, difficulty can be increased by closing the eyes briefly. Removing visual input forces the body to rely on deeper balance systems. Studies show this dramatically increases muscle activation and coordination. As always, safety comes first. Only progress when you feel confident. Now we arrive at exercise number 1, the most powerful movement on this list. The exercise Japanese physical therapists consider the gold standard for restoring leg strength after 60. Exercise number 1 is tachi suwari, which means stand and sit. This movement is deceptively simple. You sit down, you stand up, and you repeat. Yet no other exercise has been shown to improve leg strength, balance, and independence as effectively in older adults. When you stand up from a chair, your legs must lift your entire body weight against gravity. This activates the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, hips, and stabilizing muscles all at once. Unlike machines or isolated exercises, tachi suwari trains the body as it moves in real life. A landmark clinical trial from Kyoto University studied older adults with significant leg weakness. Participants practiced tachi suwari daily for 8 weeks. The results were extraordinary. Quadriceps strength increased dramatically. Balance scores improved by more than 70%. Several participants who relied on walkers at the start of the study were walking independently by the end. This was not medication, not surgery, not supplements, just repeated, controlled standing and sitting. What makes this movement so effective is its built-in safety and confidence. The chair provides a clear target and a safety net. If balance is lost, you simply sit back down. This allows older adults to challenge their muscles without fear, which is critical for progress. To perform tachi suwari correctly, sit in a sturdy chair without armrests if possible. Place your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Cross your arms over your chest. Lean slightly forward and push through your feet to stand up without using your hands. Pause briefly at the top, then slowly lower yourself back down with control. The lowering phase is just as important as standing. Controlling the descent strengthens muscles and protects joints. Japanese rehabilitation protocols emphasize slow, deliberate movement rather than speed. Start with a manageable number of repetitions. 10 is enough in the beginning. Perform the movement once or twice per day. Each week, add a few more repetitions as strength improves. Progress gradually. Consistency matters far more than intensity. Once 30 repetitions become comfortable, difficulty can be increased slightly by using a lower chair or holding light weight close to the chest. These progressions are only introduced after mastery of the basic movement. Japanese researchers have also found that performing tachi-sawari earlier in the day leads to better functional carryover. Activating leg muscles in the morning improves movement quality for the rest of the day. Taken together, these 6 exercises form a complete system. Heel raises support circulation. Hip circles stabilize the foundation. Leg extensions build strength safely. Squats restore natural movement. Single leg standing retrains balance. And tachi-sawari ties everything together. What makes this system special is not complexity, but intention. These movements were shaped by daily life, not gym culture. They evolved to support real movement, real aging, and real independence. You do not need to do everything at once. Begin with one exercise, practice it daily, then add the next. Over time, your legs respond. Strength returns, balance improves, confidence follows. Aging does not have to mean weakness. In Japan, it never did. Your legs have supported you for decades. They carried you through work, family, and countless moments that shaped your life. Taking care of them now is not about exercise. It is about respect. If you are starting this journey today, you are not late. Muscles respond at any age. Balance can be retrained. Independence can be protected. I'd love to know which of these exercises you plan to start with. And if you've already tried any of them, how long did it take before you noticed changes in your strength or balance? Your experience may help someone else take their first step.